Josh Gordon passes the Seahawks physical, is ready to go for the Seattle Seahawks. The rich just got richer in Seattle. They had Tyler Lockett, a man who has yet to fornicate because he's waiting until he gets married. He has Russell Wilson, who's an incredible freak athlete. You got Pete Carroll chewing his gum and making things happen. Now Josh Gordon goes to a player-friendly organization that can hopefully take care of him for the long haul in a mental health standpoint. And I would assume Russell Wilson is going to be very thankful that not only does he have Metcalf now running, he's got Josh Gordon, a guy that can go over the middle, can go get it. That Seattle Seahawks team just got infinitely better immediately. And I think Pete Carroll's a good guy to have in Josh Gordon's corner.
Yeah, the people who are like, well, that's a weed legal state. Like, so was Massachusetts.
Yeah,
so,
well, we were the people saying that, though. I mean, in those people's defense, that are saying that, we went on an entire rant about how, I mean, we did predict that he was going to go to the Seahawks, though.
It was, that was in the Saints we said made sense.
Yeah, the Saints and Seahawks, we predicted he was going to go there. And then that spun into an entire conversation about, Seattle for Josh Gordon, not great. What's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And then we got like 45 tweets that were like, yeah, weed's legal in Massachusetts too. He was just fine. It's like,
well actually, weed is legal in Massachusetts.
Josh Gordon, he can be who you can afford to be. Josh Gordon is so good at football that all these speed bumps that he's hit has afforded him another opportunity in the NFL. I hope he takes advantage of it this time with an organization that looks like they can do some real damage.
Are you surprised that he made it all the way to the Seahawks on the waiver claim? Like, they're pretty far. They have a good record. They're pretty far down.
Packers were next. I think they would have grabbed him too if Seattle wouldn't have.
I think you have to. I don't think you know. I think you
have to submit.
Yeah, you submit before knowing anybody else, and it kind of falls to you.
It's like a silent auction almost.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a silent auction. It's like you put your ticket in there, and if yours just so happens to get pulled, like you get it. So I don't know if the Packers know if the Seahawks put in a claim for it, because I always wondered how that worked too. I'm like, okay, so anybody can just pick them up. They're like, yeah, but you got to put in a bid, and I don't know if your bid is something like your risk. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
So it's not first come, first serve.
It is. Yeah. Well, no, it's
if
worse.
you get your claim in first, it doesn't matter.
No.
Seattle was 19th in the waiver order.
Yeah, it's how your team is.
Yeah.
Like the
it's
draft.
like fantasy football.
It's like the draft, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to put in the claim, though. So, like right now, the Bengals, if they put in the claim, they would have got him because they're the worst team in football right now. And then it goes the opposite direction. But I don't think you know who else is put in for him.
And that's probably why the Patriots waited until after the trade deadline to cut him, because if it was before the trade deadline, anyone could have went and got him. He wouldn't have had to go through waivers.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, that a team that could potentially face the Patriots did get him. I wonder why nobody else put a claim in for him.
I got to think he's a game changer, especially if he can be your 3 or your 2. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he is. Right there, he's the 2. I don't think he's the 3. I don't think you put him above behind Metcalf.
No.
Even if he
Lockett.
doesn't. Even
Lockett's really good.
Yeah,
too.
Lockett's the one, I'd say. I think Lockett's one, especially because of his connection with, even if Josh Gordon's a better wide receiver than Lockett, Lockett's the one there because of his connection with Russell Wilson, even though Russell Wilson can make, I think, Gordon look very good. What, you got to teach him, 4 plays? 3 plays before going in there? Like, hey, this is what we're going to line you up over here, and this is what you're going to do. We're going to line you up over here. This is what you're going to do. I mean, that's something that you can get a wide receiver involved quick. I mean, you see it all the time with the New England Patriots. They get a guy, and it's like, bang, you're in. Here we go. Here's 5 plays for you.
I thought it was interesting that they did a lot of research on Antonio Brown, and Russell Wilson also wanted Antonio Brown, but then they ended up going with Josh Gordon is the less risk now than Antonio Brown.
I mean, it's weed. I think as society changes, even more so, it's like, oh, this guy, this entire thing about him is just because he smokes weed. This Stephen A. Smith thing, stay off the weed, is mostly because of Josh Gordon and the entire thing. And now as the world and as the society is changing its opinions on marijuana, as more studies come out, it's almost like everybody's like, oh, come on, this guy. This is all because he smoked a plant every once in a while? Hey, what, he catches footballs? No, that's what happens, I'd assume. It's very interesting. It's just like the people that are getting that are in jail for like 10 years for marijuana charges. They're all getting released out of prison. But not all of them. I guess there's some that are not. Lawrence Tynes, kicker for the Giants, his brother is in jail for a marijuana distribution. He's been in jail for like 20-some years or something like that for this.
Oh, he's under those old crazy laws?
Yeah, it's insane. Lawrence Tynes, by the way, great kicker, clutch kicker for the Giants. He's become a little bit of a savage on Twitter. I don't agree with everything he's saying, but he's becoming a savage on Twitter. And then all of a sudden I saw him tweet at Trump and was like, hey, how about my brother, inmate number, blah, blah, blah. He's like a 20-some of a 30-some year sentence for marijuana. I'm like, I can't believe you guys used to do that back in the day. I can't believe you olds, Todd, you old whites.
Ron Reagan.
say
Tell
no
him.
to dope, right? That was the thing.
yeah.
I'm happy that's getting changed, though. I think the world is getting better, even though a lot of people think it's getting worse with the social media stuff.
So do you think the league then kind of feels responsible almost for like robbing 2 years of his career in his prime?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't think they really
I
care.
would assume that they're not thinking about that. They're just adapting with the times, because there was the laws, so it's like the league lives in their own laws. Obviously, if you play for the Denver Broncos or the Seattle Seahawks or the Patriots, you still can't smoke weed because under the United States of Goodell, you can't do that.
Right.
In the United States of America, you might be able to. In your state, you might be able to. But under Goodell's leadership, you can't do that. Or under the NFL's leadership, you can't do that. So, it's a little bit of a different world there. But I think as everything starts changing here in the next couple of years, we'll look back on the Josh Gordon case and be like, man, wait, he didn't work where? Because of weed? That's pretty dumb, if you ask me.
Martavis Bryant, too, who is a freak, is still out of the league.
Alien is what they called him.
Yes.
His
I love
actual
that. I
nickname.
love that, man.
His nickname was actually the Alien. It's strictly because of weed. But now, granted, the rules did say don't smoke weed. So, you have to play in their sandbox. If it's somebody else's sandbox, you have to play in their sandbox. It's their rules. So you can't just – now, granted, you can be an outlaw. You can change things. You can do that. But you can't expect to be treated the same way as other people that aren't doing that. That's just the way it goes. If the rules are that, you got to follow those rules. For instance, when Antonio Brown was just missing things and he got fined for missing things, if there wasn't an understanding between him and the GM about missing things, he gets fined for it. It's like, yeah, that's the way it goes. It might be stupid. Like, hey, this might be stupid, but that's just the way it goes. And that's, I think, the thing that gets forgotten about sometimes whenever we talk about dumb stuff. It's like, yeah, but you have to, if you're going to make money in their sandbox and you're going to get fame in their sandbox, you have to just play by their rules in their sandbox. It's their sandbox. And until those rules change, you got to be able to smart and game the system. Let's be honest. 60, 70% of the NFL smokes anyway. So if you're getting caught, come on, guys. Get with somebody else. Just look to your left or your right. One of them is doing it. And ask them how they're doing it.
Some advice.
Yeah, just ask for some advice.
Speaking of Antonio Brown, there's some stuff on the street going on that since Deshaun Jackson now has to have surgery, he's probably out for the rest of the season. Antonio Brown Eagles are getting a lot of talk on the internet.
Jeez, man. Wherever he goes, by the way, they're going to get better. Let's assume that Antonio Brown, Mr. Chip on his shoulder, is going to be working his ass off right now. Where is he? In college right now? He's taking college classes?
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, that's wild. I thought about me thinking about doing that whenever I was like, could I do that if I had to? The answer is no. Could you imagine somebody looking me in my face and telling me to do homework or something? No, I'm not going to do that. But that's their sandbox, right? So I'm not signing up to do that. The fact that Antonio Brown is signing up to do that was insane to me, especially with how everything was going. I'm like, he's going to be able to just to have other people tell him to do homework and do this and do that, because that's what you are. It's their world. There's no way he's doing that. But I can tell you what he definitely is doing, and that's staying in shape. And if he gets a chance to step on the field again, I bet you he's going to absolutely smoke fools. He's going to be fresh, too. What, he hasn't taken a beating? He hasn't had to run 100 routes a day? Oh, my God. Somebody's going to get very good with him.
His feet's probably healthy, too.
Probably.
Yeah, his feet aren't burnt anymore.
Yeah.
You got to have those feet good, too.
Feet has to be good.
Feet have to be good.
Don't be defeated.
Oh. Be undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that a boy.